Hello and welcome to our final round coverage of the lead group at the 2017 Vibram Open. Big Sexy commentary back again. It's me, Nate Sexton, and Jeremy Koling.
We have a windy, wet, and wild final round here, and what a matchup we have. Ricky Wysocki and Gregg Barsby going for the rematch of 2015. And then we also have James Conrad and yourself, Nate Sexton, battling for that final spot. Man, this is going to be exciting. There's so many things that can happen. And with the wind and the rain and the cold conditions, I mean, anything can happen today.
It's almost painful to watch these hole previews in beautiful weather.
Yeah, this is taunting us because look, this is actually what we had. I mean, Ricky doesn't even take the hood down. He's throwing with the hood up. That's crazy.
They call him Raincoat Ricky for a reason. On a rainy day, Ricky plays very, very fast. And that's a strategy. You know, sometimes he's not going to hit his best shot ever, but he tries to get the disc dry, and he just gets up there and rips it.
Look at that. That is, to be on the road there in those conditions, I mean, that's just enormous.
Yeah, that was fantastic.
And that's a good point to bring up. You know, the rain definitely suits the player who is a quicker player. If you're sitting there methodically thinking about each shot and you've got to dry your disc off slowly, you haven't thought about your disc or your shot before you get to your disc.
Sure.
You know, that rain is just gonna beat you down over time.
Barsby turns it over a bit, and he's found the trees. Going to be a bit of a tricky angle.
But still crushes across the lake. It wasn't incredibly windy here, but it was just enough breeze that kind of gets into your head a little bit. And
yeah, absolutely.
You're going
misty.
With the hood down.
Hood down. I'm not a hood up thrower. I'm going destroyer. I try to play a little hyzer, let it flatten up. I'm not really even looking for flip here. I just want to get a long carry and move a little bit to the left.
And that's a good bit of distance there, and that's going to be in a spot where you have that opening to the gap available to you, but it's going to be one of those things that you're going to have to see when you get up there whether or not it's worth going for.
Yeah.
Final player here, James Conrad.
No raincoat at all.
No raincoat, and his hair's definitely not going to be as bouncy today as it normally is.
Yeah, tough to keep that volume up with the misty weather. That he has really ripped over.
And this shot brought to you by Pantene Pro V.
But he is clear of the bad woods. He should be fine over there. Here's James laying up for sure. There's really no way to attack from there. And he's done it pretty well. That should be a pretty easy jump putt from 120 feet or so to get up to the basket.
And what were you thinking here?
This was my first time going for this green. I was thinking final day.
Oh, yes, stays in.
Final day, no Ricky's in a good spot. Like, I don't know, I got to go down guns blazing at least.
Wow.
So I figured go for it, and it actually paid off.
Yeah, that was a very aggressive shot. And Gregg is going aggressive here as well. And he has caught the tree. He's in bounds. He's putting for a 3. And what the heck is going on here? All of a sudden, this hole's getting easier in the toughest conditions.
I think it's just that final day. You know, you're going up against some great players. I want to push for the win. I knew that this harp was going to come out because he was in such a nice spot. I didn't want to lose a stroke, so
wow,
made me feel like the risk was appropriate.
And what an ideal placement for Ricky's drive. I mean, not only did he crush it over 500 feet, he was right in the middle, no trees in the way at all.
Yeah, very, very perfect.
Very perfect. And I was very surprised looking at the stats. Many of you are familiar that Vibram does a cut after 3 rounds, so we went from 144 players to 72.
Oh, and Gregg just to the left.
Man, how special would that have been to see 3 down on this hole if you make this putt?
Come on.
And Gregg makes his.
I got to make this.
Great start there.
And I didn't feel that easy either. I mean, with that little bit of rain and, you know, I knew I needed to commit to that putt.
That's an incredible start here. We're going to go 2 down on lead card as Ricky just barely gets it over the rim. And I was really surprised looking at stats here because, like I said, we had the field cut down in half, and yet we had more birdies in the last round in the worst conditions than we did in any of the other rounds. In fact, just a couple under as much as was combined through the first 3 rounds.
I think it's just the Sunday effect. You know, like when you get me out here on a hole like this on a Thursday, I'm not really looking to park that thing. But Sunday is a different story. You got to make your move. You got to play, try to play the best golf you possibly can to have any shot.
Yeah, it was still only 10% of the field with 7 birdies, but that's 10% is pretty awesome when you consider that it was 3% of the field birdied through the first 3 rounds.
For sure. Hole 2, par 3, 350 feet, dead straight. We've got the OB rock wall on the right. We've got the tree bunker on the left, and you got a ditch about 70 to 80 feet short of the green. Ricky trying to get a turnover. Didn't really get that part of it, so he's just going to find the trees.
And he's going to be at the edge of it, which is fine. He'll be able to lean out and throw a sidearm, but if you're in the middle of it, it can get kind of squirrely in there.
Yeah, it fell pretty nicely for him.
And looks like you're throwing the roller here. Is this a safe play, or are you trying to attack the green?
Well, I'm trying to attack, but I'm trying to do it in a little bit of a safe way. I did actually make 2 birdies here, round 2 and round 3.
Yeah.
So I'm looking pretty good to go 2 under for the week on the hole. The roller just needs to bounce over the ditch.
Yeah, we saw Nico do it a couple times and actually park it.
Oh, Gregg has turned it over, and that is out of bounds.
Yeah, that's the really tough part about this hole. You're going to throw something that's turning over, and having it not drift over, be over that wall that's the tricky part.
T-Bird King.
Oh gosh, yeah. Perfect.
James Conrad just flexes it in absolutely perfectly. Ricky with a little turnover forehand, probably looking to run it a bit.
Yeah.
Just slides it up nicely.
And we've seen shots like this from Gregg going in the past, and this is just going to fade just a bit left, but that was certainly a run at his 3 save.
See the wind picking up a little bit. I'm just pitching up. Didn't really have an angle to get the disc high enough. Just had to get out of the trees.
And this would be a great 2 right now with a bogey in front of him and 2 pars set up. And great little connection there from James. This is a hole that really suits his game so well. I mean, he's a power player.
Yep.
He's really great at these straight shots like this, and it's a hole that he certainly looks to capitalize in getting a stroke on the field.
Definitely.
What's your game plan going into the final round?
I mean, pretty similar, other than the fact that I'm like a little bit more willing to take risks, because I just feel like, Ricky is a guy that he's not gonna give you anything.
Right.
So,
and neither is Gregg. I mean,
no, of course not. But I felt like I needed to play, if anything, just a touch more aggressive. Hard to do in that weather, but just picking my spots and taking risks when I felt like it couldn't net me a stroke.
Mm-hmm.
Hole 3, super tough, 410 feet through the woods. The play is going to be a right-handed backhand that needs to break right a little bit midway through the flight and then hopefully finish back left. In these conditions, I mean, it's really a hero's birdie either way, but in these conditions, it's fantastic. I think James would be one guy I would nominate to have a chance at it, though.
And it looks like he's drifted his a bit wide, but almost gets through everything, luckily.
It's a pretty nice kick going right. He should have a pretty unobstructed look at the basket. And you can see the rain is not joking around at this time.
That was real time. There was no pause or editing there. That's just Ricky stepping up and ripping.
Up. Yep. I'm going with a T-Bird. Didn't really throw it quite hard enough, but it's pretty fortunate here just to kind of find a way through.
Yeah, it doesn't hit a single tree. And that should be in jump putt territory. And Gregg's been throwing this line really well all week, and this one's a little bit lower. Doesn't quite get that height that he needs to get all the way to the pin, but he's inside circle 2 range.
Easily the best drive in the group. Ricky almost hit this first tree. He does, in fact, hit the next tree, though.
Okay.
Right when it came out of his hands, his whole body kind of tensed up, like, oh, gosh, I just hit that tree. But it got right around it.
That's kind of a signature that Ricky has, though. Like, anytime he throws, whether it's perfect, I always feel like he's kind of has some anxiety as soon as the disc comes out of his hand.
Yeah, he's a bit like he thinks it's going to be bad, but 99.9% of the time it's great.
You're right.
James kind of skids out a little bit. That wet ground, maybe.
Slow down. And he didn't put too much pace behind that, but it just kept moving.
I've got a sneaky little gap. Try to jump it out of there.
Yep. Quality par setup there.
Gregg for birdie.
Oh, he needed that after the bogey on 2, and par's fine, but he kind of had the door opening, especially with Ricky having that early tree, and he was ready to charge it in.
Nearly saved it. James with a big pressure par putt here. Nicely done.
And holds his balance just long enough to not fall forward inside the circle. And we're going to see 4 pars here.
Actually, Ricky is bogey.
Oh, I'm sorry. Ricky did miss that putt there. So we're going to see 3 pars and 1 casualty of hole 3, and move on to hole 4.
Ricky takes the bogey. His lead shrinks to 1 over Gregg and myself. James just 1 more behind that. Hole 4 is a 250-foot par 3. It plays a lot shorter than that. As you can see, it's very sharply downhill. You got to hit a little short of the basket and slide up to it if you don't want to bring that water into play. We got James up first. Probably that JK AVR he's been using. He's been putting a lot of height under this shot.
Now that is moving fast, and I think he would have been fine with the wall down there at the bottom, but it's so hard to tell. I mean, it looks like he's really being aggressive through the gap as opposed to kind of laying up early, and that wasn't a layup, but you certainly hit early.
Yeah.
Look at this thing.
Go. Keep going.
Come on now.
I didn't see any of that. That's the first time I missed this gap. I had 3 birdies on this hole coming in. I was really happy.
Oh, wow.
One. It's hard to make it through those trees 4 times in a row.
Yeah.
Gregg.
Oh, yeah.
Beautiful anti-skip. Really well played, and he's absolutely parked.
I mean, besides the fact that he kind of played a little bit with those myrtles there on the right side or left side of the fairway from the tee, the counter skip putter shot is the ideal way to play this hole.
Yeah, that's a cool little FollowFlight line. The anti-skip is a fun thing to see in disc golf when you play those angles just right.
And it looks like Ricky is going the Anheuser side on him today. This is the first time I've ever seen him go this route. He has always been straight down the middle forehand.
Yeah.
Going back years. And so
I played with him yesterday, and he threw it really hard, and he got saved by the wall. So maybe it was in his head a little because he went like chain high and barely was saved.
Yeah, I'm curious. I was wondering why he may have changed that shot.
Look at the rain just pouring down there on the lake.
Yeah. And spoiler alert, it doesn't stop raining. it rains all the way through this round, so you're going to see this. Your players,
you know how they hate spoilers.
I know. But I'm going to go ahead and spoil that. Also, double spoiler alert, I do not win this tournament. I'm sorry, I'm done with the spoilers. And James has slid past the basket on his putt, and he is going to pay the price for being aggressive from up there, and he's going to be tapping in for his bogey.
Ricky makes a par. Gregg strolling up for a very easy birdie putt, I would think. Can cancel out the bogey from hole 2.
There you go. And even par through 4 in these conditions, nothing to scoff at.
No, not at all.
And there's a par there as well.
And this hole will jump up and bite you like it did to James there. The upshot is not easy, and the green is just so slippery. It's easy to have that happen. 4 is not that rare.
Lifetime warranty, and 1% back to the planet. Tempercraft USA. Temper your thirst.
Hole 5, the site of Gregg Barsby's Sports Center moment just a day ago. We are going over the water. Most of these players, if you're looking for birdie, you really need to go over the water, outside, clear the wall, and then hit a nice putt on an elevated basket in some rain and some wind.
Yeah, layups are for rounds 1, 2, and 3. I think we're going to see 4 players go for the over-the-water shot for the birdie. This was one of the few holes on the course that actually got easier in the last round. And Gregg just gets over that wall. He is just pretty much throwing perfect shots in this hole every round.
Yeah, that was really nice. I'm going with a champion orc. Trying to get a little bit of glide.
And that's got to get over the wall. Very nicely done. And that's, the forehand play on this hole, to avoid getting up, at the circle's edge, you have to trust it over the water for so long and just barely get it over that wall at the end.
Yeah, definitely.
It becomes tricky. Unless you're Ricky and you want to throw ace runs, oh my goodness.
Beautiful shot there.
Yeah, that's ideal.
And James going to show us the backhand approach. That is super high, which is a good thing. Coming in gently.
Yep.
And he's found the circle.
He's going to have a bit of a scary putt with the elevated basket and water behind, but he is such a good putter. I don't expect him to have too much trouble with this. He is made good there from about 28 feet.
Great putt.
And even though we had half the field cut, there were 55 birdies in round 3.
Wow.
37. Oh, goodness.
Get that putt in the air, guy.
And that's what happens. You elevate the basket just a bit. You don't want to have a comeback putt, so your arm sometimes comes up a bit short.
Nice birdie from Ricky.
But yeah, we saw 37 birdies out of 72 players, so 51% of the field
Nice.
birdied this hole.
Nice.
Nate Sexton was not in that.
75% of my group.
Yeah,
made good.
Yeah, 75%. That's pretty good in the lead card.
We've got a tie at the top, 21 under for Ricky and Gregg. Hole 6, tough on the most beautiful of days. Brutal on a rainy day. OB down the entire right side. OB water on the left is also possible to find. 375-foot tunnel. Really not a great line to access the pin. So it really all kind of conspires, comes together to make this a very, very difficult hole.
And Barsby's been throwing this one very well with this Scorpius. And I think he's throwing it perfect again. But, I mean, once you throw that tee shot and you hit that initial gap, it really becomes so much about luck, whether or not your disc gets up there on the green. And
Yeah.
anything up there that far is just fine.
Yeah. And this is also pretty good. It's flipping a bit late. And he's not OB.
He's not OB, but man, things get really thick on that side of the wall. If you're over there, you have 2 bunkers to deal with. The initial bunker that you're behind, and also there's a little bit of stuff there up there by the green.
This is a green that has, if you're short left, I mean, there's some 20-footers that you can't make.
And
You can be pretty close.
Wow.
James has just been piping this shot. Beautiful shot. Uh-oh.
And that's where 4 comes into play. And if you're not careful, 5 comes into play too.
I was just happy that it didn't go OB.
Right.
This is exactly what I wanted, but I just need luck. I didn't
yeah.
get it. There's really no play. No, I don't think from that spot there's really a skill shot to park the hole.
Right. And you see there, I mean, Ricky had to go with a tomahawk. There's no natural line to get to the pin from where he was there. And Gregg's even go forehand from, 55 feet. And look,
he's going backwards.
Yeah, there's just so many things there. It's not as easy as you'd like it to be with such a great drive.
Yeah, for sure.
He's got to go forehand again. And you never want to throw a forehand from 50-something feet.
It's not fun. I'm trying to go for a miracle save here. Didn't quite get enough turn on the disc. Gonna have to settle for a bogey. And James has been making these. This is for birdie.
Come on, James. Oh, that would have been the second birdie of the day. There was only one total birdie on this hole.
Wow.
Out of the entire top half of the field. Pretty incredible.
That is incredible.
1%.
Bogey for me. Bogey for Gregg. And pars for Ricky and James.
And there were more bogeys than pars, so Ricky and James are actually doing better than the field on this hole. And that's not surprising. There's just so much trouble you can get into on this hole.
Definitely. Hole 7, par 3, 370 feet uphill, dead straight. Trouble right, trouble left, trouble all around you.
Yeah, the staff was kind enough to cut down one tree in the middle of the fairway that's up there by the green that allows you to actually see the basket from the tee. And before that tree was cut down, you stand here on the tee and you're thinking, how the heck do I get one up there? And now it's, I want to say it's easier, but now you can at least see the basket.
Yeah.
So that's nice.
Yeah. Ricky takes a tough kick there. Way left. See what kind of line he has from there. James does not care about the rain at all.
Awesome.
And he just throws a perfectly straight shot.
Man, and I'm kind of disoriented with that camera view there. Oh, there we go. Back to normal. Oh, that gave me a headache. Quality work by our cameraman, though. That one just messed with me. And Gregg is I don't know if he's really playing that for birdie there, but he is playing that a very smart way. And without hitting that tree, he may even have a pretty open jump putt look at it. But either way, he is up there looking at a pretty simple par.
Yeah.
And I believe that's kind of what you're trying to do there as well.
Absolutely.
I mean, the forehand play, the angle of the fairway does not set up well for it at all.
I'm going for about a 4-foot gap here.
Yeah, and
I take a double kick straight backwards.
you needed about 5 or 6 feet.
And then this shot, I needed to get around this V tree. I failed to do that, but look at this nice little friendly move that the disc did. So that really wasn't that well thrown of a shot, but kind of got away with one.
There you go. Take what you can get at Maple Hill Gold.
Wow, this shot was harder than I thought it was. Seeing where Rick actually had to get down in there on a knee, he threw it really well. I just saw it flying and thought, oh, really perfect shot, but the degree of difficulty was higher than it appeared.
And I think that Rick might be the best at that. I've seen him throw so many shots where I'm like, oh, that was just an easy shot.
Oh, James for the birdie.
Okay, that's awesome.
Crazy birdie.
Yeah.
What's the field got for that? What's the stats man got to say?
The stats man has to say that was one of 7 total birdies for the day. Only 10% of the field, which is actually a surprisingly high number.
That's a good number.
7 out of 72 players is pretty good, actually, because this hole is just monstrous.
Yeah.
But to finish that point about Ricky, he throws so many shots where you're just like, oh, he made that look easy, and then you go and look at what he was actually throwing, and it's like,
yeah,
you had to throw a needle through a haystack.
A disappointing 4 for me, but a great 2 for James. Hole 8, 320 feet over the water. Got to be in bounds, or else you are going to the drop zone, and from there you are most likely taking a 4. The OB is also there long if you get over the Disc Golf Pro Tour wall.
Yeah, I haven't seen a single player throw over the wall this year. It was a new addition that they added in the 2016 Vibram Open, and I did see a few players throw over the wall then, but I think players maybe figured it out. Just throw a line drive, low. We see that shark 3 from James there, and he's landed himself about 32, 33 feet away.
Rain pouring down, Ricky wasting no time.
And he's been pulling this one a little bit too far right in previous rounds. He's made the adjustment here, and that's a good change to make. Now he's inside 25 feet.
Gregg also lining up a forehand, looking to swing it outside, hopefully bring it into the wood chips.
This has got ace run written on it. Oh no, just comes up short.
I thought the same thing live. I thought that's a perfect shot.
I was not expecting that. I thought he had the right height, the right move on it, the right angle and everything, and just came up just a bit short. And you and Rick fight through the same little gap there, and you're in pretty much tap-in range.
Here's the drop zone. As you can see, Gregg is actually trying to make this, but it is super difficult and super dangerous because you could find yourself going out of bounds again.
Did he miss that to the left side of the basket?
I think he did.
That's I mean, not to say it's impressive that he missed, but
yeah.
to miss it that way from
yeah.
that angle is
yeah.
that's not an easy thing to do.
And James with another big putt, and he almost made the 1 on 6. And he made a nice 1 on 5. So he's like
all of a sudden
almost 4 big putts in a row. He got 3 out of 4.
Here we go.
He's stringing some birdies together.
And that's the stretch that Gregg's been killing throughout the event, which has led him to start to round off the tie for the lead.
Yeah.
And now James is coming up strong through that stretch. Great putting display by James Conrad.
Yeah, 3 under and 1 cage hit on 5 through 7 in these conditions is really amazing.
Really impressive.
Gregg takes the 4. The rest of the group's going to take 2s. Ricky is up 2 shots over James at this point. Hole 9, 420-foot par 3. It's a blind landing zone, very steeply uphill and then very steeply downhill. The toughest thing about the hole is the out-of-bounds water just short of the green. You have to make sure your upshot is getting enough distance to carry that clearance and get into the chips.
Yeah, one of the iconic controversial holes on the course. Just really the only controversial thing is the name of the par. Other than that, it's a hole that's never changed since I've been coming back in 2009. And I don't
good second kick. But continue your
I just don't think that this hole will ever change. It's just such a fun little shot up and over a hill. I can't recall any other shot like this in disc golf that I've ever played. And
yeah.
It's a fun little shot. You just have to get over this hill and avoid these early trees. And
Ricky missed his line, but he didn't have to really pay for it. He went way left of the fairway, but it snuck through the trees, and thankfully he was able to come to rest in a spot where he can still have a stand-up shot.
And James appreciates that shot because he'll be able to watch Ricky throw before. I think they're making minis there.
Yeah, they are pretty close.
And just avoiding going too deep into the rough there, you're going to have a standout shot as well.
Gregg, I believe an eagle here.
Well, we'll see. Sorry. The eagle puns they're done. I'm done with them.
If we had Eagle McMahon, you'd really be having a field day.
And a long jump putt for Ricky. But once you're up that hill, it's not that difficult to get the distance. You just want to avoid being over there because you have a tricky stance. Fortunately, Ricky is really good at those tricky stance putts.
He was not happy with that shot. James needs us to slow down a little.
And that's kind of the benefit of having the jump putt. You can get a little bit more nose up, a little softer touch there. That nose down driving putter throw tends to scoop pretty far past on these approaches.
Yeah.
But Gregg does a much better job there of keeping the distance control down, and he's going to be within 15 feet. And this is a dart.
Yep.
And kind of a little half bid, maybe.
Yeah. More. Oh, he did the horseshoe again.
Oh. We almost saw 2 for 2 from Ricky in the horseshoe putts.
Yeah, I was mostly concerned with just getting enough distance on mine, and it would have been an accidental make if it went in, but
okay.
I was just trying to get out of those trees and get over the OB.
And a great spot for Gregg to pick up his 3 with James and Ricky failing to convert on their 3 putts.
4 for Rick.
And don't look now, but we've got a little bit of a change up here now, heading into the back 9.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, things get a little bit tighter at the top.
Definitely. 3s for Gregg and Nate. Ricky and James take the 4. Ricky still has a 2-shot lead over James and Gregg. Thank you guys for joining us for the front 9 coverage. It's a wet and wild day, like Germ said. Get back, check out the back 9. Let's see who wins this thing, and let's see if this rain gets worse. Spoiler, it kind of does.
Yeah,
Look at this guy diving for the discs.
Thank God he retrieved probably over 1,000 discs this weekend.
An insane amount of discs.
Yeah, thanks to Overstable, thanks to David Clancy, thanks to Innova, thanks to Jomez, and as always, thank you guys for tuning in. We'll see you in the back nine.